Star Wars quote where they said you can have the best effects, the best acting, whatever you do. At the end of the day, people are listening to the music in the scene. And I think Power Rangers is no exception. So when you first started with that, working with Saban, Shuki, what have you, can you explain some of the process back then of what went into creation for this show?
Well, I'll back up just a little bit from that. So I had started at Saban in 1989. They brought me in to mix for the other composers. And I was, I had been pretty much living at the poverty level my entire life up to that point. I'd been in 80s bands. I'd almost been signed several times. But I worked with this composer, and he was actually getting paid to work. And I knew nothing about scoring, but I figured this might be a better direction than schlepping stuff around LA and playing in bands all the time. So I ended up there for the first 3 years. I would submit stuff, and I would get some very brutal notes back saying, this isn't songwriting, it's scoring. And everything I submitted, they said, too fast, too energetic for kids, too much, calm down. Then in '92, they needed a theme for X-Men. X-Men hit, and all of a sudden, fast and energetic was totally cool and right, and why hadn't I done it before? So that's how it goes. It's cool. So I spent that time after that working on the X-Men score. A couple other guys did it too. And then one night they came in, they said, we're making a presentation to Fox for a show we're calling Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And I said, morphine? That was my only question. They said, maybe use the word go, because Hyman Shuki had a bunch of luck with Go Gadget Go in the 80s. And I wanted to work on another song that night, so I was a bit annoyed that I was going to have to actually work at the job that I was hired to do. So I said, all right, I had other plans. So I sat down, and from they needed to completion took 2.5 hours, and I threw my vocals on as a guide. And the next day they called, they said, Fox loves it. And I said, who are we going to get to sing it? And they said, Fox loves it. We're leaving it as is. And that began my life as a singing incorrectly through my throat screaming singer. And literally it was, okay, when's the first episode coming in? They said a few weeks, you'll start scoring it in the style of the theme, And that was it, started working on it. Didn't really know how it hit until there was an event at Universal Studios in Hollywood, and the freeway was backed up for 5-6 miles of people trying to get into this thing. So I lived across the hills, so I walked over because there was no way I was getting stuck in worse LA traffic. And they gave me a wonderful seat. I'm not dissing Saban, but I had a wonderful seat all the way in the back off to the side. And I watched the show go on, and I went, wow, this is huge. And then the theme came on, and to hear the whole stadium singing it, and I went, wow, this is really something. And then it was just back to work. And that's all it really was. This is really just as the internet's getting going, so I have no idea what's going on out there with X-Men or Power Rangers. And every day I just went in and worked on Power Rangers. Then they had Sweet Valley High, the VR Troopers. They'd come in and say, the execs are having a party this weekend. Could you do a version of the theme that says, go, go, Joey Goldberg? So, you bang with it. We have a commercial. We need something for whatever, Mattel tomorrow. We need something for the macaroni and cheese line. And you just work and work and work and work. And then in '95, I was kind of burned out and left. I still did stuff for Saban, more themes. And then one day, said, we have this show nobody gives a damn about called Dragon Ball Z. Do you just want to do it at home, just score it? I said, sure. So I sat in the living room on a chair like this with a little keyboard, a 19-inch tube TV, a VHS player, and scored those episodes for the first 3 years in the living room while doing other work for other places as well. Had no idea Dragon Ball Z was anything until maybe 2010. Somebody wrote and said, it's a cult classic. I went, oh. Because you're just working. And in this business, it's like always going to high school. you make friends, everybody's gonna know each other forever, everything's great, production breaks, and 2 months later, you've all moved on to other things. So, and I only really look forward, so. There you go. And that was the creation of that.
That's fantastic, though. Obviously, though, the impact that it's had on so many people, it's so cool to think, oh, this is just work for me. So during a week, did they have you say, like, okay, we need, it was later in season 1, they're like, let's do those songs with all the vocals, the fight, the 5 for 1, things like that. Did they say, hey, this is working, we need more of that? Or if you recall,
they would say it'd be good if you can bang out a song or something every week.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Scoring.
Yeah.
So what would happen is once you start writing for a show, you have a music editor that can edit in some of the tracks. So I would score about 9 minutes, because we were cranking these things out. I think we were doing 52 every 6 months or so. And then after I'd finished the 9 minutes of score on average, I would start writing a song, and all the songs are kind of personal about my life. So Fight, Combat, I Know a Place is about a bar around the corner where we'd all go hide and have a drink around 10 p.m. Then they started getting a lot of lawsuits against them, violence. Apparently my songs were causing children to beat each other to death. And I remember hearing that and say, put me on CNN with the parents and you'll find out in a few minutes that a song is not going to cause that. And then it made its way to the White House, and Haim Saban was very close friends with the Clintons, but the Gores decided that I couldn't use any more words like fight or combat, anything that would incite violence, no more minor chords, which is what the church did in the 16th century as well. So then the songs, I just shifted the energy with things like I Will Win, and Cross My Lines about not getting the Power Ranger film, which I was going to score, but that didn't work out. So I just, in a positive way, was saying, and the Tanga song, did anybody remember that? Tanga Bye Bye? That is actually, every meeting I had with Saban right in the middle, because he's a very busy, very charismatic, great guy. And you'd be in the middle of the sentence, he'd go, thank you, bye bye. So when Tanga come up, I just said, I'm going to do hi. Instead of thank you, bye bye, I'll do Tanga, bye bye. Which I thought was hysterical. And that continued, and after Saban, the phone, thank God, never stopped ringing. So I've worked, I took 2 one-week breaks between the X-Men theme and the summer of 2018.
Wow.
It was crazy.
So that's a long, applause for that. So was this, you said when you got into it in '89, was this what you had wanted to do, or did it just happen to work out that way?
Oh no, I was going to be in famous bands.
Oh yeah.
I have performance anxiety. I hate doing anything live, but I was going to be in bands. By that time I should have been dead from a drug overdose.
Oh,
I didn't do drugs, but you know.
You should have been.
Yeah, it was all part of the plan.
Yeah.
But no, you know, I was. I think when I started at Saban, I was about 27, and I said, well, I'm aging out of the record business. Ironically, I'd have a record deal about 12 years later with my ex-wife, but that was another adventure.
It's own memory.
So it's just kind of found me, and the way it found me is because I consider it channeling, and it just goes through me. The ideas come to me. I just have to complete them. It's my day job. It's that simple. That's it. I have no ego about it. It didn't change the world. I'm so glad that people love it. That's it. It's that simple. It's just all I've done since I was 3.
It's such a good perspective on that, though, because like everybody out here, I would think would say that the song "Go Go Power Rangers" did change the world phenomenally in a lot of ways. Everybody's heard it, it seems that. So for you to just be like, yeah, that was part of the job I did, and I'm just proud of doing that. What a neat, egoless way to look at it.
Yeah, well, my parents made it very clear that no matter, unless you're a pediatric cardiologist, you really aren't saving lives with what you do, mostly. And I had hung out with enough rock stars to watch their destruction, which I wasn't gonna ever buy into.
Yeah, which is good. But I mean, the bad thing that didn't happen, the good thing is that you were on the right path all along. Because you did what you could.
Without even knowing it.
Right, but you know what? Sometimes it works out that way.
Yeah, I just have gone with my gut.
Absolutely.
And I can't play a note of guitar in case anybody thinks I can. It was all done on keyboards.
Really?
I fooled everybody.
All of that guitar was keyboard?
All of it.
Who knew that? Yeah, well, I didn't know that actually, but... Oh, okay.
And one of my favorite stories is when I was signed with my ex-wife, I ended up at Eddie Van Halen's house, and he handed me a guitar and said, show me how you played that, because he had to learn it for his son Wolfie, and I went to his grand piano and played it, and he just...
Then he got it, he's like, oh, now I see. And then he kicked you out of his house, right? And then he said, yeah, okay, God.
Yeah, get out of here.
Oh, man. Oh, it's crazy. Now, does anybody have any questions for Ron about anything? We got it out there, a couple out there. I'll take a microphone out there, I guess, if you want to say some stuff during it.
Or scream it.
Yeah, actually do that. It's quiet, actually. Let's do that. And I don't want to walk around, so, well, it's so true. Let's just do that. Let's
So,
see.
your question, so when you were working on Dragon Ball Z, did you ever listen to the Japanese score and take inspiration from that for your scoring?
No, because I only had a cheap antenna on my television at my apartment building, and I didn't even know there was a Japanese version. I didn't know there was, I knew there was a pre-existing version in Japan of Power Rangers, but I never saw it until, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. Because people would say, have you ever watched it? I never knew. So I did not know, so there was no influence from that. And the reason that the scores in those first few years are just long building drones, like they do now in scoring, it was out of necessity because I had kind of a simple setup at home, shall we say. So the longer I could score and build a giant swell, the less technical problems I had. And it just worked out great. Again, it just happens.
Sometimes when you know what you're doing, it works out. That's what it sounds like to me.
More for me, when you don't know what you're doing, it works out, honestly.
It makes sense too, yeah. Joe's got the microphone. Whoever wants it, I suppose. Thanks, Joe.
First, I want to say, you said your songs don't affect people. I grew up listening to music. 100%, Power Rangers and your music helped me get through my childhood. That's number one. So it definitely did help a lot of us. And my question is this, is between Go-Go Power Rangers from season 1 and season 2, what's the difference between the time, I mean, the work they did for the second season opening, the longer one? Did you, was there any difference, or did you do anything different for it?
Well, I do remember when they said we'd like to do an album and we want a long version of the theme, and I just remember thinking, you know, when you get so used to something being 1 minute long, and now it's going to be 3.5 minutes, your first thought really is, oh boy, I got some problems here. And then I just took that groove and started writing lyrics. I really fought with the first line of the second verse, but then finally it came.
Well, they had a slightly different energy though, right? You know, a little more rocking in the longer version and the faster in the TV version.
Yeah, well, actually, from what I remember, the choruses should be identical. I don't think I recut those. I think I just added all around. Again, the advantage of using keyboard for guitar, because everything's digital files. So, but I do like the long version better, because it's longer.
Yes.
It gives you more time to get your blood pressure up and sweat and all that.
That was the thing too, all of those songs, like a lot of people probably use them for workout. Every time I used to work, I wouldn't know it now. But I would play that album would be the one, because you got energy from it.
I've done it a few times, which feels
To
weird.
your own
when you
songs?
listen to yourself. Yeah,
Cool.
I've been at the gym a couple times and put it in. I'm like, this
gym music.
really works.
It's good gym music,
Yeah.
yeah. It's good energy, it's just good music, period.
Then I-
Yeah, it's
Oh, thanks. Very nice.
Joe's got one.
Hello. One first, since being a kid back in my parents' old place, I loved watching Power Rangers. Whenever I hear that first guitar riff, I'm like, yes, it's coming on. With all the different theme songs that have been made throughout the years, how do you feel about the more recent ones for like Beast Morphers, Cosmic Fury, and Dino Fury?
I'm flattered that they keep going back to that Go-Go Power Ranger hook now and then. Most of the themes I thought were great, but be honest with you, completely honest, which I've never really said this. Every time I hear those vocals, even if the track is great, I know they're hired studio singers. And there was something about, the theme was just dumb luck for me. It's the first thing I ever sang. But all those other songs are completely sincere and from a place in my life. Nobody wrote them for me. Nobody hired, well, I was hired, but you know what I mean? Nobody hired me and brought me in to sing them. So I think that's what comes across on the original material stronger than everything else afterwards. The themes afterwards sound a bit more pop. They're not as dirty and as raw as the originals.
Hey, it's a pleasure to see you, sir. You are amazing. Happy to see your face in person.
Thank you.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you.
I love music. I play piano, so I've been playing about 20 years. I love music. So who inspired you to go into musical composition? I think I missed that part of the convention.
I didn't hear your whole question. I'm sorry.
You're good. Who inspired
did
you to go into musical composition? Like, who inspired you to go into this one?
Oh.
His calling? Like, who inspired you to go into musical composition?
Oh, sorry, yes. It was really diverse when I was a kid. Listened to a lot of records, not a lot of pop. My dad would only play the news in the car, which was kind of good because I would sit back there and listen to the commercials and pick up on those melodies. I know it sounds kind of screwy. And then once I could listen to whatever I could, a tremendous amount of classical. I was a huge George Gershwin fan. And then I get tired of that and listen to Black Sabbath or Led Zeppelin. And then it just became more and more diverse over the years, constantly. And I even, at one point, had a shortwave radio. I could start listening to music down from South America. I lived out in the San Fernando Valley, so I started getting those Latin grooves going, and I really got into that. But you could only do it late at night when the signal would skip off the, whatever. The sky, off the magic sky into my little box.
That's awesome.
Still don't understand how that stuff works.
Magic, exactly. It's the magic of Hollywood.
So my question is, since you said that most of your songs have a meaning to you, what's the meaning behind 541 and Combat?
Well, Combat is once I started realizing things were starting to take off a bit in the career, and the types of personalities that you deal with. So it was kind of a lighthearted combat. The stuttering worked really well rhythmically. 541 is a takeoff off the Three Musketeers, all for one, one for all. And here we had 5 for one cause. So I was just being clever to myself. And the drone of that song, with just the drone under that chorus, is just hypnotic. So it's, when I wrote it, I wasn't sure it was going to work that well, and when I finished it, I said, yeah, it's pretty cool. Now I love it.
That's a cool question. I was going to ask about what I was going on is, do you have a favorite one of those?
Oh, We Need a Hero is my favorite.
Oh, We Need a Hero, yes, good choice. Definitely, and that's just an inspiration. If people that didn't, if that played out of Power Rangers, people would like that song. Like they wouldn't even know it was from that.
It's a political song.
Yeah, okay. But, so, talk about it if you want to. Talk about what it means. But I love the inspiration for these songs and this music. So, following on his question, any stories you might want to tell about that?
Yeah,
would be
well,
awesome.
with
I all love the creative process.
Well, with We Need a Hero, I started sensing that having a strong leader in anywhere in the world, but here especially, was starting to fall apart. Things were starting to get crazy. And it was kind of the perfect thing to write for the show, We Need a Hero to rescue us. And politically, it'd be really nice to have a very strong leader again. And I'm sorry that I it kind of has worked out that way. Either side of the aisle, no matter what, it's just weird. Things are just weird. So that's really what that one's about. Again, Cross My Line is, I had the film for 20th Century Fox, but Saban did not want my name on as composer, so they yanked me from the film, and that was You Crossed My Line. That's what that's about. No anger, no animosity, it's just business. And
This is where
instead of yelling, I wrote a song about
You
it.
didn't have, exactly, I think
Yeah.
that's the better way to go about that.
It's
We all benefited from it that way.
It's
instead
more
of- yeah.
encrypted that way too.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
And then people have to know that around you, and if they don't, it's over their head.
Exactly.
What about, let's see, obviously Go Green Ranger was because of the Green Ranger there.
We have a Green Ranger now, we need a song.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
We have a White Ranger now, we need a song.
But then after the gap for a while, you took during the ZO, after that era, Power Rangers SPD.
Yeah.
You're back. And it hits different than the other songs around that. I mean, there were some great songs. Dino Thunder is a great song. I was like, but when we hit SPD, it had that old feel again. It was great. What was it like coming back?
It was like, what was amazing to be asked to
And
do
it's
it.
Disney, not Saban at that
I
point.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they were great to deal with on that one. They were absolutely great. And they just said, we want to go back to the original vibe and sound. Can you do something like that? And I remember telling the guy, Steve Vincent, I think we had spoke in the morning, I said, I should have something by 5. And bang the thing out, and he said, okay, I'll play it for everybody, I love it. And then I was out of town, and he called me and said, well, I have a note, which always makes you,
Oh, no, yeah.
here we go. I said,
I need you to start over.
can you put a siren? Oh, I've had that. I said, so your note is you don't like it, you want me to redo it. And then in this case, I said, can you put a siren in? I will do it right away.
Yeah.
And then Mystic Force, I wrote the rock version. They loved it, it was a go. And then they wanted to go with rap. And they said, do you want to try? And I said, put a C in front of it. It is going to sound like crap. And I delivered, he goes, you're right. And
It's
I
not
just
the
laughed
worst
it off.
song in the world.
The one I did.
It's not the worst song in the world. The Warriors will save the world today. Technology will show them all the way.
That's the version they wanted. You haven't heard the rap version I did.
Oh, that's right.
No!
That's right. I'll look for it online. I'm sure it's there.
Oh, I'm sure it's somewhere. Some things you can't kill.
Oh my gosh.
And a 1 gig thumb drive buried in the back of a drawer somewhere.
We got one right here.
I've heard the rap version, it is crap. I agree with you.
Honesty, I love honesty.
And also, I'm going to disagree with your parents because music can save people's lives, like 100%. I can't speak for everybody here, but Power Rangers did something really special for me, and the backdrop to that was always the music, and that was you. Thank you.
You are very welcome. Thank you.
I'm curious, you mentioned that when you work, it's like channeling for you. I feel the same way with my writing. Can
Yep.
you talk more about that process?
Yeah, what will happen, your point, don't even. This is the good one. Oh, the good one's good. No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Play the rap.
Where's the speaker? I'm terrible at this.
And the bottom. The bottom.
Here, so do it.
Oh,
I don't hear it for a while.
Oh,
Listen to that rocking guitar on the piano.
I should call it this.
All right, let's go. It's time to get it on. Let's set the record straight, and then we know right, no wrong.
I'm always sweating when I do this. Great. I'm glad you didn't pull up that rap version. You are right. So anyways, what happens is commonly, and I've had this funny times with this, call and discuss a theme that they want for a show. The idea is right there, or a song, and if I ever kill anybody and go to hell, I'm gonna have to listen to this 24 hours a day.
That's enough. I do think that was better than the one they chose that was a rap, though. I will say, I think that was better than, because it had your sound. And that sound is associated with the Power Rangers. It's as much as the costumes and the Zords.
Yeah, but it would be like Tom Hanks coming out and doing ballet. It's Tom Hanks, but he's not going to be a good ballet dancer. Anyway, so the ideas will come. No, I have a lot of never heard before, never will be. The ideas pop into my head for these melodies, and I usually hear the complete production. And I have had times, I did it on a call, can't remember, end of last year or middle of last year for a show that Shaquille O'Neal's in called Shaq's Garage, a kid's show. I was on a conference call and they were discussing some of the stuff they wanted, and I said, I've got it, sorry, click. And then I grab the phone, go to the recorder, and try to record it in. And then I try to figure out what the hell I recorded in later because it was done so fast. But there are times the idea comes quick and I'm not going to screw around and talk on the phone. I've got to get it recorded right away. Then there's times it doesn't work, and that's when I just walk in a circle. And that happens at times, and I will walk in the same circle for 2-3 hours, and then it comes to me. And I assume it's just because it hasn't been delivered yet. I'm a little early. The FedEx package is late. I got to wait for it. That's how it works for me. It's very bad when it hits you in the car and you can't record and there's a cop next to you and you've got to get
You can't speed over there, you can't grab this, you can't put it down. Yeah, it's like,
Try to remember, it's gone.
and see, that is the thing with the creative process. But I think it's so neat to hear that even professionals, who everyone in the room has looked up to in that respect, go through the process the same way.
Yeah,
It's pretty neat. I don't want to change to like any mental health. Have you ever had any self-confidence issues doing this? It's that kind of industry.
No, I think you have self-confidence when you, well, I mean, like I am terrified of performing live, but I've done it a ton. I just get nervous and throw up and stuff like that.
That means you care, right? If you're nervous.
It does, but when it comes to the other stuff, I think I'm not insecure or confident about it because it's just goes back to what I do. So whether there's a rejection or it gets accepted, it's like, great, fine, that happened for a reason. I just roll with it.
That's such a good philosophy to take. You know, I'll take it myself actually. That's good.
It's not hard to do. It's just in my DNA that way. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But cut me off on the freeway, you are.
That's LA. That's LA.
That's LA. I was just doing 8 miles per hour, now I'm doing 4.
Just added 6 more hours.
Yeah.
So, this is a bit of a deep cut into Ron Weiserman lore. But you...
They never proved anything.
You need a body to have a case, right?
But you did the music for the Nickelodeon show, The Thundermans, and that was a show that was very similar to Power Rangers in regards with teen superheroes and stuff. And I was wondering, did you take any musical cues from your time on Power Rangers and stuff like that when you did The Thundermans?
I tried. And first of all, I went into that meeting and I wrote 5 short rock themes. And the look on their face, I mean, they liked them, but it's not what they wanted. And then I said, well, I can do more. And they said, no, we're bringing you in to score the show. At Nickelodeon, like Disney, if you write the theme, you can't score the show. And if you score the show, you're not allowed to write the theme. So they had somebody else write the theme. They played it for me and said, what do you think? I said, I think it's really catchy. The only thing it's missing is the name of the show, which I shouldn't have said. But I tend to put the name of the show in the theme. It's just like a thing. But it worked out great. The score was great, but they didn't really want any rock stuff ever. So I developed a different sound for that. So yeah, it's kind of the same with another superhero show. I love that show. They're great people.
Did you work on the return movie for the Thundermans too?
No, and television people are considered garbage from the film people, so the film people hired a film composer for that. But if it does well, they'll bring back the series, animated possibly, and then I'll be doing that, which would be great. We'll have to wait and see how the film does. So I'll watch it. Everybody watch it. So they do a series.
How you doing, Ron? My name's
Good.
Marcus. Great to see you, man. I'm a musician myself. I play guitar.
I'm sorry.
Well, the fact that you mentioned Eddie Van Halen, who's actually one of my favorite artists, he's awesome. But I get that.
Crazy brilliant.
He's crazy though, yeah. But like, I love covering video game music. I love video games and everything. But basically, I want to talk about like all the music from Power Rangers to X-Men, every composition that you've made. It's like, it's part of my childhood too. It's definitely really cool. So, but I know you probably can't maybe talk about it because of legality reasons. And trust me, I understand because I hate spoilers myself. But with X-97 coming around the corner, you're involved in that as far as like the music and everything?
No involvement.
No
I know
involvement?
that, I think they're using the original theme, but no involvement in it.
Really?
Yeah, I tried to get a hold of them and they didn't even do nothing, zero. I think somebody told me, I'm not sure, I think they hired the guys who did Stranger Things, possibly. I think they brought them in. And they deserve that break. Stranger Things was a huge show, but from what I've heard, I don't know them, their deal was not good on Stranger Things, so they deserve it. They're talented.
Hollywood at its best.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because like...
We love you, we own everything.
Exactly.
Like,
Good work. Thanks for getting us some money for that.
Here's your cookie, go.
Because like X-97 is like,
Next week.
if you think about it, it's like it's basically like season 6 of X-Men, so kind of makes sense you were going to be involved in that too, so I'm pretty sure.
No, they blew it. Marvel, schmarvel, they're going nowhere.
Wow. Ouch.
It's crazy.
No, I hope it's great.
Yeah.
It benefits so many people who are working on the show if it does well. So I hope it's a huge hit for them.
Well,
Those are big shoes to fill.
Yeah, big shoes.
Not mine. I'm talking about that series.
Yeah, for sure. Because I had a chance to talk to the voice actor Wolverine, Cal Dodd, and I saw Allison Court too, and they were talking about like what they were expecting from X-Men 7 because technically it's like the 6th season after season 5, which ended in 97. So they said that you guys are so tight-knit and close. I think that you're going to be involved in that too. So it's like,
No, and the people I know that have been involved with it, they're not talking. Because they can't.
It's
it's like you said,
for
it's
show.
the
It's
non-disclosure.
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Oh, sure.
Awesome. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, right. Do you want one, Joe? You can talk anytime you want to if you have the microphone. It's you to give it.
Hello.
Hi.
Not that I've asked you